Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Between the pages today, a look at Prime Minister Andrew Holness's first week in office. We also highlight justice from a legal aid perspective. Stay with us.
Whenever you hear the following tone, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, will be giving information on an emergency situation affecting the island. Please be on the alert and listen to your radio and television for further information. This was a test of the emergency alert system, brought to you by ODPEM.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, September 15. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the selection of junior ministers is a good mix of youth and experience. He was addressing the 9 ministers of state following their swearing-in at King's House on Monday. They include Leslie Campbell, who was also sworn in as a senator and will work out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn will assist the Minister of Health and Wellness. Homer Davis will work in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, while Dr. Norman Dunn is the Minister of State in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Operations at the Ministry of Transport and Mining will be assisted by J.C. Hutchinson. Robert Morgan has been assigned to the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Marcia Smith to the Finance Ministry, Xavier Main, Ministry of Labour and Social Security, while Orlando Tarilong will head to the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Mr. Holness says the team will add great support to members of the Cabinet in the development and execution of policy and the administration of public affairs.
There are areas of policy that need to be explained, that needs to be championed, that needs sometimes to be brought directly to the stakeholders. And as Minister of State, you can play that very important role.
The Prime Minister implored the members to work alongside their respective cabinet minister to execute their responsibilities. In the meantime, the 21 members of the Upper House have been named. 13 are assigned by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, while 8 are selected by Leader of the Opposition, Dr. Peter Phillips. The government senators are Kamina Johnson-Smith, Matthew Samuda, Aubin Hill, Leslie Campbell, Tom Tavares-Finson, Cavan Gale and Ransford Braham. The government side is completed by Charles Sinclair, Don Webby, Delroy Williams, Dr. Safari Longmore, Natalie Campbell-Rodriguez and Shireen Golding-Campbell. The female opposition senators are Donna Scott Motley, Sophia Fraser-Binns, Janice Allen and Gabriela Morris. Dr. Floyd Morris, Damian Crawford, Lambert Brown and Norman Horn close out the list of opposition senators. 9 members of the judiciary were sworn into higher office yesterday by Governor-General Sir Patrick Allen. David Fraser and Nicole Simmons have been appointed as judges of the Court of Appeal. Their appointments become effective on September 21. Marcia Dunbar-Green has been appointed to act as judge of the Court of Appeal from September 16 until December 18. 5 puisne judges have also been appointed. They are Natalie Hart-Hines, Carol Barnaby, Aikelin Reid, Vaughn Smith and Tara Carr, whose appointments also become effective September 16. Stephanie Orr was appointed to act as master in chambers.
All 9 persons here are here on merit, and that we can be justly proud that we have these 9 persons to serve us. So, they are joining the judiciary at a time when Jamaica needs persons of character, determination, and commitment to service above self.
Chief Justice was making his contribution at the swearing-in ceremony. For his part, the Governor-General says the judges have been appointed on their own merit, displaying personal integrity, experience, and competence.
We are confident in our justice system and the efficacy of the rule of law. We value and respect your contribution to our democracy and wish you well as you assume your new positions.
The University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, is currently undertaking COVID-19 research using blood plasma for the treatment of consenting positive COVID-19 patients. The procedure, approved by the hospital's Ethics Committee, involves getting persons who have recovered from COVID-19 to donate blood. The blood plasma with its antibodies is then extracted and used to treat existing positive COVID-19 patients with comorbidities and other vulnerable population.
The University Hospital of the West Indies has been encouraging and inviting persons that they treat to come forward. It's clearly a voluntary thing. There are confidentiality issues around that, and a number of persons have in fact, having gone through the process and recovered, have donated their blood to help others.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton was speaking during a recent virtual media briefing. He also encouraged recovered COVID-19 patients from other health institutions across the country to participate in the UHWI's plasma collection drive. Jamaica now has 109 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 4,042. The island has also recorded 2 additional COVID-19 related deaths and 2 recoveries. And finally, applicants of the COVID-19 Allocation of Resources for Employees Care Program with invalid bank account information status have until Friday, September 18 to make the necessary changes. The Ministry of Finance says if changes are not made by the deadline, persons will receive their funds through alternate arrangements to be made by the WeCare team. Applicants who have not yet received funds are therefore being encouraged to visit wecare.gov.jm and select Track Application to see their status. The Finance Ministry is also advising that alternate arrangements are being made for persons who were not able to collect their funds at the remittance agency of their choice by the August 31 deadline. Details on this will be announced. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Up next, the latest developments coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
I, Andrew Michael Holness,
Sworn in as the 9th Prime Minister of Jamaica, names 19-member cabinet and announces tighter COVID-19 containment measures. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan.
Jamaica is on the right path. This government has been given a mandate to move with speed and alacrity in fulfilling the great destiny of this country. We will not squander it.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has promised as he took the oath of office to lead the country for the second consecutive term. At Monday's swearing-in ceremony, Mr. Holness outlined a number of areas which will be given priority attention. Among them, finance, health, investment, education, the social safety net, housing, and the advancement of a digital society. The Prime Minister said government will be providing $14 billion over a 3-year period to support businesses, tourism interests, and farmers. Funds will also be expended to improve health infrastructure.
We will undertake major infrastructure upgrades to the following hospitals: the Spanish Town Hospital, the St. Anne's Bay Hospital, the May Pen Hospital, the Bustamante Children's Hospital, and the UWI Hospital. Together with the completion of the Cornwall Regional Hospital and the Western Children's Hospital, simultaneously, we will also retrofit 110 health facilities across the island with technology that will provide high-speed internet capacity and modern ICT infrastructure to assist in the delivery of healthcare.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has committed his government to building 70,000 housing starts over the next 5 years. Of that number, 30% or 21,000 will be reserved for police officers, nurses, teachers, and other civil servants. Another 10,000 will be allocated to persons within the ages of 18 to 35 years at 100% financing. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says this is among several measures to ensure more Jamaicans have access to land, housing, and other critical infrastructure.
Each year, the NHD will invest a minimum of $1 billion in social housing to include construction and repairs for those who are not able to purchase a home. We have already started to improve the system of the issuance of titles, And we have targeted to issue over 30,000 land titles to Jamaicans who have legitimate claims to land that they have occupied and cultivated for generations.
Mr. Holness also disclosed plans to increase potable water to 100 million gallons per day. This, he said, would be done through hydro storage and desalination. Parishes targeted are Clarendon, Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine and parts of St. Thomas.
This will solve once and for all our water shortage problems in our utility areas on the southern side of the island and increase the resilience of our country.
At King's House Monday, Mr. Holness said his administration would be targeting the creation of some 150,000 new jobs across various sectors.
We will diversify our economy to increase resilience, promote innovation, support youth entrepreneurs, and explore opportunities within the green and blue economies. We will support the development of coding, animation, film, logistics and fulfillment, among other sectors.
The Prime Minister also committed to mobilizing foreign and domestic investment to improve public services. Among the plans, completing public-private partnerships for water treatment and storage, sewerage, garbage collection, and infrastructure development. Plans for the listing of state-owned assets on the stock exchange will also continue. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has promised not to abuse the public's confidence.
There will be those who feel that the majority is a basis for arrogance, gives license to do as they wish, creates opportunity to pursue their selfish ends and their personal ambitions, gives room for complacency and tolerance for errors. Those who hold such views would be sadly mistaken and soon separated. Every member of the government must understand that this mandate is not about them. It is about the people. No princes or princesses were elected. You have no divine right or entitlement. We are all servants of the public.
Mr. Holness also announced that every elected representative and appointed minister will participate in sensitization and public education programs to be established by the Integrity Commission.
This to increase their awareness and understanding of the anti-corruption legislative framework, not just to sensitize them alone, but to ensure that they are seized of their duties under the law and understand that this will be an accountable government.
The Prime Minister also pledged to complete the legislative framework of the Integrity Commission and the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency MOCA early in this term. This, he says, will expand their investigative and prosecutorial resources and strengthen the country's anti-corruption structure. By Monday evening, the Prime Minister was at Jamaica House unveiling tighter COVID-19 restriction measures. The revised containment orders come as the island enters community spread of the virus. From September 8 to 23, the new curfew hours will run from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. the following day. Public gatherings have been reduced from 20 to 15 persons. Individuals 70 years and older are mandated to stay home except once each day for the necessities of life. Taxi operators will be required to carry one less person than the maximum allowed on their license. The prohibition on funerals and parties, as well as burial protocols and rules for normal church services, remain unchanged.
We're also encouraging all businesses to facilitate persons to work from home if they are able to do so. Given that we are now in the community transmission phase, in our daily interactions, you have to assume that everyone you come into contact with could be carrying the virus. This means you cannot let your guard down.
On Friday, the Prime Minister announced his 19-member cabinet. Dr. Horace Chang, Dr. Nigel Clark, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, and Dr. Christopher Tufton took the oath of office on Monday and retained their previous posts. The other ministers were sworn in on Sunday. Olivia Grange, Desmond McKenzie, Robert Montague, Edmund Bartlett, Delroy Chuck, and Matthew Samuda retained their portfolios. Favour Williams is the new Minister of Education. Darrell Vaz assumes the Energy, Science and Technology portfolio. Carl Samuda has been appointed Labour and Social Security Minister, and Pernell Charles Jr. holds the Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change Ministry. Floyd Green has been promoted to Agriculture and Fisheries Minister. Audley Shaw retains the Industry, Investment and Commerce portfolio. Everald Warmington and Senator Albin Hill are now ministers without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. This past week, Prime Minister Andrew Holness mourned the passing of two great Jamaicans. On Monday, the island's first female Senate President, Jeanette Grant Woodham, died at age 82. Mr. Holness described Mrs. Grant Woodham as a trailblazer in politics and education who pushed boundaries, broke barriers, and did the seemingly impossible. And the Prime Minister expressed condolences to the family and friends of 77-year-old Frederick Toots Hibbert, who died on Friday. Mr. Holness said Toots' passing represents a loss to the musical landscape and as one of Jamaica's finest artists who will never be forgotten. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
The Jamaica Legal Aid Council continues to provide access to justice for a number of citizens. It doesn't matter the defendant's background or gender. The council operates without discrimination. Take a look.
Yo. Alright, yo, may I make a call?
Hello?
Yeah, Jen. Auntie, just get a call from the station here. Them lock up Johnny.
Lord have mercy. So where them have him there for?
Some gun business in a taxi and them something.
Out of trouble. Business not even a one too right. Oh God.
No man, enough worry money now. You can go to a legal aid council, them have a list of lawyer where let them provide it free.
Alright, me love.
Yeah man, just go down there and talk to somebody.
We will meet you there in a little while.
Johnny's case is one of some 3,000 for which the Legal Aid Council makes duty counsel representation each year. The Duty Counsel Service provides for free legal representation from a lawyer at the police station for persons arrested, detained, or remanded. The assigned counsel will visit the person in need and provide help at the various stages: the lockup, identification parade, interrogation, and apply for station bail or bail by the court. Lockup visits and bail application are free of cost and require no application form. Everyone has the right to justice through the country's justice system, even if they cannot afford the cost for legal services. The Legal Aid Council has been ensuring this restricted access to justice, and lawyers assigned complete hundreds of some 1,500 court cases annually, benefiting hundreds of children and adults. Legal aid is the system that provides legal representation for Jamaicans who can ill afford to pay for this service whenever they come in conflict with the law, thus ensuring access to justice for all persons without financial barriers. The organization established to support these services is the Legal Aid Council. The Legal Aid Council, a statutory body within the Ministry of Justice, governs the legal aid system. For court representation, the Legal Aid Council or the court office completes an application form on behalf of the client and assigns a lawyer to represent the client until the end of the matter. All attorneys assigned court matters are private attorneys required to vigorously defend the right of the client, take full instructions from the client, advise the client, and ensure the best outcome on behalf of the client. Cases involving murder matters only require assigned attorneys to have 10 years' experience or more. Where a defendant requires DNA, handwriting, or other specialized expertise to advance their case, the Legal Aid Council will undertake the cost for a client unable to afford these professional services. While the Legal Aid Council provides full representation in court for clients with criminal matters, the Council only provides consultations on civil matters before determining whether the individual can afford legal representation. Thereafter, the Council provides an attorney to assist with the court matter. The duty counsel representation from the point of arrest to the first court appearance is free and it does not require the completion of an application form.
There are two main ways to access legal aid for criminal matters. One is the duty counsel stage. This is where a person has been taken into police custody and you're entitled to a lawyer, no application to fill out, no contribution fee to make from the moment you're taken into custody until your first court date. That is duty counsel. The officer has a duty to call duty counsel. Every station should have a list of the duty counsel available. If they don't, contact the legal aid counsel for an up-to-date list. If it's a family member that comes to the legal aid counsel or the clinics, if the person is in custody not charged, no application form, no fees. The counselor or the clinic makes a call wherever the person is to an attorney who has his office near to that location and assigns the attorney. The attorney at the end of the matter sends in a claim to us. So the client makes no payment to the attorney.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the law firm of Stone and Brighton. How may I help you?
So the duty counsel is mandated to ensure that all the rights set out in the law for question and answer are observed for you as a citizen. All the rights and protection surrounding ID parades are maintained. Additionally, if the lawyer observes a child, any person under 18 being held at an adult lockup, that lawyer must make an application for the child to be removed to a juvenile facility. So that's the duty counsel stage. For the court aspects, if the judge observes that the person is without a lawyer, the judge will invite the clerk or assistant clerk to interview the person and grant legal aid. So the citizen is protected at every stage. At the duty counsel stage, some people would have been released after the ID parade, released after the question and answer. But for those who have been charged, you're entitled now to a lawyer to represent you during the trial. For that, there's an application form that the court would fill out or the legal aid counsel or a clinic would fill out. And you may be asked to make a contribution. But the person who is not able to make any contribution will be granted help. If the means test shows that at the time you're not able to pay anything, then it would be zero contribution. So it is designed in a way that it helps rather than it obstructs. The client will basically be stating whether they have any income and any expenditure, the bills they have to pay, number of children that they have to support, etc.
The legal aid counsel pays the private lawyer for his or her services to the legal aid client at the completion of the matter. If the client can contribute towards the process, they make payments at any branch of Scotiabank and not to the lawyer.
That contribution, there's no deadline on it. If the person says at the next month end, we are flexible. What we find now is that more Jamaicans are now able to approach the court, and whether funds are there or not, whether unemployed or not, they now can approach the court being represented by counsel. So a lawyer is there to put forward your defense, to speak on your behalf. And we have helped persons who were convicted. And in fact, in one instance, we provided a DNA report at the appeal level, and we were successful.
The council continues in its bid to reach more persons in need across the country using a Justice mobile unit acquired through the Citizen Security and Justice Program and its international partners. The unit has been taking the service to some 50 communities, particularly in rural Jamaica and the inner city yearly.
Reggae legend Frederick Toots Hibbert died Friday night at age 77. Toots and the iconic band, the Maytals, are a cornerstone of Jamaica's music. With songs such as Bam Bam and 5446, he was a favorite not only in Jamaica but across the world. Up next, Culture Minister Olivia Grange shares a few words on his legacy, and right after, a replay of his entry song in the recently held Jamaica Festival Song Competition.
I'm saddened by Toots' passing. Toots and I had a very, very special relationship. And he was a true pioneer and contributor to the development of Jamaican music. Recently, when he entered the Festival Song Competition, I felt honored as the minister. He was the first winner of the competition. And to see that he felt humble enough to want to enter the competition again with all the younger artists, that he felt he was not too big to participate. And I really admired that about him. And so I want to just pay tribute to him. I want to indicate that his passing is a big loss to Jamaica and to the world. And that, as minister responsible for entertainment and culture, I will ensure that his legacy lives on and that we will pay the appropriate tribute to him.
Hey! Singing. Singing. Eternal Father, bless our land with justice, truth, and rights. See all those little children walking on the sidewalk, singing festival songs. Won't you rise up, Jamaica? Stand up, Jamaicans, with love and justice for all. Let us build our nation from the foundations of love, of love. I say, rise up, Jamaicans, stand up and take a stand. We are all God's people. We should live as one. They say Jamaica is overpopulated, so we must be creative in our sunshine land. We should be in a hurry to gain our victory from humanity. So I got to say, rise up, Jamaicans, stand up and take a stand. We are all God's people. We should live as one. Singing. Singing. Eternal Father, bless our land with justice, truth, and rights. See all those little children walking on the sidewalk, singing festival songs.
You have reached the final page of the magazine. Thanks so much for being with us on today's journey. Another show unfolds tomorrow, same time, on this same station. Until then, click on our social media pages for more informative features. While there, please subscribe to our pages and channels so you can stay in the know. I'm Adrian Atkinson, encouraging you to stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.